Coming down the stretch of the USL regular season, welcome to Legion Stadium, everybody. I'm Joe Katz alongside Richard Broad for tonight's broadcast as the Wilmington Hammerheads take on Charlotte Independence. And Richard, for the Wilmington Hammerheads, struggles have continued through the latter part of the season. Not only are they playing for pride tonight, but maybe feeling a little heat heading into maybe next season as players and coaches try to position themselves looking into the 2016 season this year.
I talked to Carson Porter this evening, and he said this is a real time when he finds out who the people are that are brought into the program. For example, one of the players he's using tonight, Ross Tomaselli, has been a reliable player throughout the season. He's a player they can trust. That's what Carson Porter is looking for in the Hammerheads in these last couple games.
Well, not only are the players and coaches tonight looking for a result for the Wilmington Hammerheads, but they also have a chance to play a bit of a spoiler role this evening. Charlotte Independence currently on the outside looking in the sixth and final spot on the Eastern Conference table of the USL League, 2 points back from that sixth spot. So what it would be for a night for the Wilmington Hammerheads to potentially knock out Charlotte into a back-to-back home-at-home series coming up through the latter part of the week.
You always want that incentive, and this is a big game, as you say, Joe, for the Charlotte Independence. Mike Jeffries, their coach, a veteran of MLS. He's got this team in a position to qualify for the playoffs. He's shaking up his lineup a little bit tonight to give a diverse look, which will probably be different when the Hammerheads play back in Charlotte on Saturday.
Well, the Hammerheads did make a bit of a roster move late last week, or towards the end of last week, adding a 17-year-old Kyle Guerreri from the New Jersey Cedar Soccer Stars Academy. George Altiers, the Wilmington Hammerheads owner, runs the academy up in the Garden State, so it'll be interesting to see if Kyle will get any action, signed an amateur contract, getting ready to play at Syracuse next fall as a college freshman. So we'll look for that throughout tonight, obviously. And welcome back, everyone, to Legion Stadium as we are moments away from kickoff tonight between the Wilmington Hammerheads and Charlotte Independence here. A unconventional midweek match between these two cross-state rivals as part of a home-at-home series that will be completed out in the Queen City, just about a 4-hour ride westward come Saturday night as these two sides will face each other once again come Saturday night. As we kind of mentioned in the pregame, Charlotte playing for a playoff spot, Wilmington looking to play the spoiler role as we head into tonight's contest. We'll get to our starting lineups. First for Charlotte Independence on the back line this evening. For Charlotte, it'll be Andrew Ribeiro, number 6, Jack Metcalf, number 7, number 15, Bilal Duckett, and those are the three defenders. In the midfield, navigating the midfield tonight for Charlotte, number 11, Jack Thompson, number 14, Rafael Cox. Enzo Martinez will also be one of the midfielders this evening. Number 19, Marlon Hairston wears number 22, and the captain tonight, number 36, Paolo Del Piccolo. Up front tonight for Charlotte will be number 8, Caleb Calvert. And the starters this evening for your Wilmington Hammerheads, the goalkeeper, number 0, Andre Rawls. On the back line of defense tonight for the Wilmington side, number 2, Tom Parrott. Number 5, Troy Cole. Number 12, Andre Campbell. In the midfield, number 7, Ross Tomaselli out of Wake Forest University. Number 8, Paul Nicholson. Number 16, Stefan DeFrieger. Number 19, Corbin Bone. And number 12, Zev Taleb. And our 2 forwards tonight for the Wilmington Hammerheads, number 9, Aaron Wheeler, and number 44, Q The Wall. We'll pause briefly for the singing of our national anthem, and we'll get to tonight's opening kick right after this. Well, Richard, you got to give it to the Wilmington Boys Choir for a well-sang national anthem as we get ready for tonight's opening kickoff. Kind of touched on it in the pregame a bit, and just now as we announced the starting lineup, so Charlotte playing for a lot this evening, where Wilmington is looking to change the plans of the Charlotte Independents as they look to make a playoff push here in the final latter part of the season.
Well, you spoke about the choir, and they hit the high note right there at the end, and this would be a high note for the Wilmington Hammerheads if they can knock off Charlotte tonight.
It's turned out to be a beautiful evening here in Wilmington, North Carolina. We've had some thunderstorms to the south and east of the stadium. Looks like the wet weather will hold off for us. Some sun was peeking out before. Game time temperature around 85 degrees. Some low humidity considering the fact that we are buried in the southeast corner of the Tar Heel State. Typically, late August, early September, you're looking at temperatures in the 90s, high humidity. Tonight, couldn't ask for better weather for these two sides.
Joe, don't keep talking about it. I saw those lightning bolts in the sky this afternoon, and I thought we were in for a rough time. Don't curse us now. We've got beautiful weather. You couldn't ask for more for a better evening to play.
Yeah, it looks like the Wilmington Hammerheads will be dressed in their traditional blue kits, moving, looks like we'll be right to left to start tonight's contest. Charlotte in their white kits as they continue on the outside looking in, currently in the 8th position in the Eastern Conference table, but 2 points back from that 6th and final playoff spot. And 1 year ago, we were sitting here, it was kind of reversed for Wilmington, where they were on the outside looking in, and they eventually squeaked into the playoffs. Unfortunately for the Hammerheads, this season, we will not be taking or playing any postseason games, but as we kind of talked about earlier, Wilmington, struggling to put the ball in the back of the net. They put 2 forwards in the lineup tonight in Q Lawal and Aaron Wheeler, looking to light a spark for the home side this evening.
What's the saying? Close only counts in horseshoes or hand grenades. And the Hammerheads have been close this year. They've really only been blown out once all season. Most of these games have been 1-goal games. But as you say, if you're last in the league in scoring, it's going to come back to haunt you. It's about putting the ball in the back of the net. You can do all sorts of things from 18 to 18, but you've got to be able to put the ball in the back of the opponent's net and keep it out of your own.
So for Wilmington, as we get ready here for the opening kick, waiting for the head referee's whistle, and we'll get underway here in just a moment. Richard, why don't you go over the formation for each of the sides as we open play here at Legion Stadium, USL Soccer on YouTube.
There's nothing really extraordinary about either. And both teams play out of a 4-4-2. The only distinction is that it's a more traditional 4-4-2 with two midfielders side by side for the Hammerheads in Tallbelieve, the young player from Valpo, and Corbin Bone. But on the other team, they push the midfielder Enzo Martinez forward as an attacking midfielder, and then Del Piccolo will play in behind him. It's 4-4-2, a little variation from side to side between Charlotte with the attacking midfielder and the Hammerheads with two in tandem.
For Wilmington, you want to keep your eye on number 12, Andre Campbell, the left back. He often moves from back to front and will be an attacker throughout the course of tonight's match, and we'll keep an eye on him throughout this evening. As open play, Charlotte with a shot from number 19, Enzo Martinez, just right on cue as it whistles over the crossbar. No harm for goalkeeper Andre Rawls this evening.
That's what Enzo Martinez will do. He's a very explosive player. He'll take any chances. If he gets an opportunity to come forward, he will shoot from any point on the field.
Now, one of the things, if you're tuning into the broadcast for the first time this season, Legion Stadium not officially, I would say, the yardage marker and length and width of the field, as we see Q the Wall dribbling through a handful of Charlotte defenders, and Q brings lots of speed. An attacking player that the Wilmington side picked up during the midseason trade. Ashani Faircloth went to Seattle Sounders too. Q the Wall came here to help with some goal support, as now it looks like Corbin Bone will play on the left edge of the penalty area with a cross to Wheeler, and there's Aaron Wheeler getting his foot on a ball harmlessly off the side of the net.
And that's what they need from Corbin Bone. It's not been a great year for Corbin Bone. He's a great guy with a great attitude. Of course, Carson Porter, familiar with him out of Wake Forest. They need him to get forward. That was a good ball served in. They need to get Aaron Wheeler to finish those and put them on the frame.
In goal tonight for Charlotte will be John Berner, wearing the face mask, so maybe dealing with a little facial injury there.
He had a shattered cheekbone early in the season. This is only his fourth game back for Charlotte.
Possession goes to Charlotte as Paolo DiPiccolo plays to the far side near midfield. And a bit of a light crowd here at Legion Stadium. We would expect that with the midweek, but compared to the rest of the attendance averages this year, Wilmington has definitely, the fans have definitely shown their support for the Hammerheads despite their struggles. Veteran defender Paul Nicholson will play out. Paul recently, earlier this season, recorded his 100th match for the Wilmington Hammerheads, a lifetime Wilmington player. Recently a new father, and that's his traditional position there in the back. He's been shuffled around plenty of times throughout the year.
Veteran player along with Tom Parrott. He gives that veteran experience. Both of them have played more than 100 games in this league.
As Nicholson kind of winces a bit as he goes down on the ball, the through ball, looking for number 8, Caleb Calvert. There's no whistle on the play as Nicholson remains down on the floor, so we'll keep an eye on him as he tries to stretch it out.
We hope he's going to be all right, and it looked like he twisted an ankle on that, and the last thing he wants to do is take that shoe off because the swelling can increase if he takes the shoe off. So
and there it goes.
That would be a concern for Carson Porter if they lose Nicholson this early in a match.
And Andre Campbell actually pleading his case, saying, why wasn't there at least a foul called on the play with Nicholson down? But again, on this synthetic turf, always a concern with the, just obviously Paul familiar with the playing surface, but with that said, you just kind of got to nod your head and the ball is going to bounce the way it goes, and that's how, that's where we're at.
But it's a good turf here at the Hammerhead Stadium, at Legion Stadium. Jason Arnold and his staff have expanded the field by a couple yards on each side. It makes for a better playing environment for the players. I know they're happy with it, to have as much field, as much width as you can, and it makes for a better game. It's not just up and down, and you can have a little bit of a chance to build the ball, which is what Carson Porter likes his teams to do.
Well, it looks like Paul will get his boot all tied up. Will return to the action as Aaron Wheeler unable to secure the throw-in. And a back and forth here through the opening 5 minutes tonight. And the foul called on number 5, Troy Cole. Another stable defender back there for Wilmington.
Boy, has he been a valuable player for this franchise. Out of Mount Olive College, 1 hour up the road. That's not a school known for being a soccer power, but just shows if you have diligence and persistence, you'll get an opportunity. Troy Cole has made the most of it and been a very important player for the Hammerheads all season long.
Jack Metcalf with the cross into the Hammerheads penalty area. Unable to produce anything from their possession in the final third as Charlotte continues to control play here over the last minute or so.
They really have taken charge. They put a lot more pressure on the Hammerheads. Oftentimes a team on the road will sit back for the first 15 minutes or so just to sort of get a grip of the game. That's not true for Charlotte. They're coming right at the Hammerheads.
One thing, as we kind of talked about that playing surface, is that the Charlotte club, they'll have to get used to the hops and the bounces of this turf, fairly new, installed about 2 years ago by the city of Wilmington. And obviously, right at midfield, the emblem of New Hanover High School, which is where one of the 4 Wilmington high schools play their home games. Is a nice nifty move there from Daniel Jackson on the right edge, and a nice cross near the net. Andre Rawls comes off his mark for the moment. And it's Jackson once again as Andre Campbell. Ball plays off his foot. It'll be a first quarter kick of tonight.
Little break there for the Hammerheads, and Andre Campbell didn't really clear that ball very accurately with his head, and he's lucky only to get a corner out of this. It could have very easily created a scoring chance. Looks like Del Piccolo taking it, the player out of Louisville. A very accurate left-footed service. He's been around the ball a lot already in this game.
He'll go to the far post. Does find a player. It looks like it was Andrew Ribeiro. But 2 players kind of wrestling deep in the penalty box. And we have another Wilmington player down.
Ross Tomaselli voicing his displeasure to the official over this one. You mentioned the New Hanover emblem in the center of the field. Ross Tomaselli, graduate of New Hanover High School here in Wilmington before he went on to a fine career at Wake Forest. He has been a very reliable player all season long. Does nothing special, spectacular, just turns in a good day's work every time. That's what Coach Carson Porter is looking for these last couple games of the season.
Yeah, definitely with 4 matches to go here in the regular season for Wilmington. You got to think that a number of these players are looking to earn some respect as we head into the offseason and as they start to begin to look ahead to the 2016 schedule.
Joe, they're looking to earn not respect but a job for next year. And Carson Porter is going to play the people that earn it in practice, and that's the way it ought to be. Last year when he took over, I really thought that the Hammerheads were on their way. He was introducing a new style. They made the playoffs, and they just couldn't get those goals early on, and sometimes it starts to snowball. And Carson Porter is looking to see who's brought in and who's going to give him a good, solid effort when there's really nothing in the standings to play for.
That ball bouncing around near midfield. Zev Talib whistled for the fouls. We have a Charlotte player down now, number 19, Enzo Martinez. So it'll be a free kick for the Independents.
Once again, Del Piccolo on the ball. I watched this player play, Joe, at Louisville a couple of years ago, and I was very, very impressed with him. I was scouting for FC Dallas at the time. I mentioned him to FC Dallas. He wasn't even selected for the Combine. I don't believe he was drafted, but he's done a great job for Mike Jeffrey's team all season long, and takes all the all the free kicks, all the restarts, and he's just around the ball, very, very active, taking on a leadership role. Their captain is not available today, or he may be available today. That's Jorge Herrera, who's got an injured calf. Del Piccolo has even assumed the role of captain for the match tonight.
Rafael Cox on the far side of the pitch. It will actually deflect off of Cox, and it'll be a goal kick forthcoming for Andre Rawls. Richard, you talked a little about your scouting experience, and as we look across the landscape of North Carolina, we have North American football, we have hockey, we have no Major League Baseball team, and we have no MLS team. Now, Charlotte, of course, coming from the biggest city in the state of North Carolina, would you foresee possibly ever a expansion where a city like Charlotte, North Carolina, would be able to, put out a MLS squad?
Well, I think it's entirely possible, Joe. I think that's a good thing. I think you want the real football. I'm not sure that those guys, the Panthers, always play the real football, but they had a good year last year. But there's no reason why Charlotte can't have it. And you said it very well. There are a lot of pockets of excellent soccer. The Raleigh area, certainly up in Greensboro, and down here in Wilmington. There's not bad soccer. And we just mentioned a player like Ross Tomaselli coming out of this area. Aiden Heaney, who coaches at UNC Wilmington, always has a couple local players in his squad. It's a good state. I don't see why not. Of course, they have the Railhawks. They've done well. I couldn't agree with you more.
Be Del Piccolo on the ball again to lead with a nice play to win possession back for Wilmington. Andre Campbell on the ball now. Campbell will play in front to Ross Tomaselli as he scans the pitch, wrestles away from one defender. Nice ball up front to Q Lawal. That'll be Lawal on the left edge of the penalty area. And he will win a corner kick for Wilmington.
First good opportunity since that run by Corbin Bone. First restart opportunity for the Hammerheads coming up now. Good defending by Bilal Duckett, the player out of Notre Dame, playing a center back position for Charlotte. But they get a corner, and not been much action in front of John Berner today. Maybe this is a great opportunity for the Hammerheads.
Looks like it will be Tomaselli on the corner. Sends a right-footed kick towards the far post. Turned away as there's definitely a lot of contact inside that area. A couple of players went down once again, and it's hard not to see that Aaron Wheeler up front when he gets mixed in on these services.
He's a great target player. He had an outstanding career as an All-American at York College. Scored some goals in MLS, and that's why they brought him here. But he's had injuries, and he's not been productive. No goals at all in the season. It's time for Aaron Wheeler, if he wants a future here, to produce tonight and in the next couple games.
Tom Parrott will play to Troy Cole as they work a little combo. Tough ball there from Parrott as he regains control. One player that we did not see on the pitch tonight for Wilmington, got lots of playing time throughout the midseason, the Spaniard, the rookie defender, and Fran Martinez. As he goes with more of a veteran backfield for Coach Porter tonight.
I think they plan to rest him and also Brian Ackley, who's played a lot of minutes this season, have them available for the rematch against this team in Charlotte on Saturday.
And that's, of course, a quick turnaround here late in the season. Legs are tiring. You get a Thursday game, then you got to jump on the road, 4-hour trek out to Charlotte. So a quick turnaround come Friday, Saturday, and here we are. We're back in action out in the Queen City.
So again, this restart, they've got to be looking for Wheeler. Big, strapping, imposing guy. If he can get his head on it, it's dangerous.
And there's Wheeler there, punched away by Berner, the Charlotte keeper. As Andre Campbell will now give Chase Paul Nicholson will play at midfield.
It's good work by Berner in the goal. He's had that fractured cheekbone, but he comes out aggressively. You have to with Wheeler, who almost got on that one.
And you got to think that, you have a busted face, and you're the goalkeeper. You've got bodies and heads flying at you. I know you're in the heat of the moment and the adrenaline is going, but at the same time, I think I'd be wincing out there. And
you have to put it aside. Once you get in the game, you're either fit to play or you're not. He's got that face mask as a protector. He has to be able to do it. John Berner's done very well. Had a nice career at SIU. Edwardsville, been a good man in the goal, and Mike Jeffries is happy to have him back.
It'll be Wheeler off the head, sets up for Bone, and he's right-footed strike will go wide.
Some nice attacking play by the Hammerheads that time, and Corbin Bone has to do better. You get that ball at the angle, it's important to get it across. You're shooting almost always for the far post rather near. If you go far post, you have a chance for a rebound, chance for deflection, chance for a goalie to mishandle the ball. You go wide to the near post. It's what we see right now, goal kick the other way, 100% of the time. Corbin Bone has to get that ball across the box.
And it's hard not to beat a dead horse over here, but it's been the same struggles over and over and week to week for this Wilmington side. You got to think that there's some frustration. You were going to put a good face on, of course, throughout the week of training, but then you're out here in a game-time situation, and definitely I think has to creep into the back of their minds as minutes and minutes go by without being able to score a goal.
Joe, it's little things like that. That's a chance to get a goal. Don't just shoot the ball wide of the near post. I'm not saying it's a selfish play, but it's an undisciplined play by Corbin Bone. He's a good player. They need better performance out of him in that situation at least.
It's Tomaselli looking for the long side to Frager. Stefan DeFrager will play back out to Taleb. A tough ball there, tough touch for DeFrager. A turnover, and it'll be Charlotte on the move, and Campbell comes in a little dangerous, and he'll be whistled for the easy foul.
We've talked about Ross Tomaselli on one flank. Let's talk about Stefan DeFrager, young man out of Dartmouth College. Again, that's not a school known for producing professional athletes, but they're a good soccer school. Chad Riley, the coach there, former assistant at Notre Dame, has done a great job. And DeFrager is a young man who's done very, very well this year. And his first season wasn't even all Ivy. I don't believe it at Dartmouth, but just comes in, does the job, and this is what Carson Porter's looking for. People like this who don't do all the glamorous stuff, but do the hard running and the dirty work.
And you got to think their soccer IQ, obviously, a smart kid out there, so let him get his feet wet a little bit here. His rookie season, look for big things for him in the years to come.
Well, we hope he has a good soccer IQ. It's not necessarily when you go to an
Doesn't
Ivy
always
school translates into soccer. I happen to go to an Ivy school myself, and I'm not sure my coach thought I had that great an IQ, at least for soccer.
And Aaron Wheeler with the right-footed strike from just inside the 18-yard box, rings off the right post, all set up there from Corbin Bone, who had a great cross towards the middle. Tough play from Tomaselli, who was unable to control that ball, but the deflection went right to Wheeler. And he put on a nice strike just off the post.
You're being a bit conservative. That was a great strike by Wheeler outside the box. Surprised me. Didn't even think he was going to pull the trigger. That ball hit off the post. That's what Wheeler can do. He's a dynamic, athletic type player. And good work by Corbin Bone. No one will ever question Corbin Bone's ethic, character, work rate. And he did very well that time.
As Nicholson back in the action here. Oh, and a nice collision there at midfield.
Game's taking on a physical nature. I believe that's Marlon Hairston down in the midfield. Hairston, very exciting, dynamic player when he was in college at Louisville. Came out. He's on loan now to Charlotte from Colorado, the Colorado Rapids. He's a good player, very, very good player technically. I question when he came out whether he could handle the physical part of the game, and I still have some concerns, although none about his technical ability.
Jack Metcalf looking for Raphael Cox across the sideline. It'll be a Wilmington throw-in. Andre Campbell on the ball.
It's a good matchup down the sideline. I think they good combination of speed. You've got Jackson going down the sideline for Charlotte, and then down the left flank to cover him, you've got a real good defender in Andre Campbell.
Corbin Bone continues play for Wilmington. Aaron Wheeler off that throw-in. Nice couple of touches there. Was able to get Tomaselli on the run. As now it looks like the Hammerheads are mounting a bit of attack here over the last few minutes.
Well, they have been, Joe, and it's really Wheeler has played a role. He's not only dangerous in front of the goal, he's been a good target. He got that shot off that narrowly missed, but he's coming back and receiving the ball. He's a big, imposing player, and he can hold that ball up top and give you something. So the Hammerheads starting to find him coming back into the midfield a little bit.
With some good spacing here, Andre Campbell to Aaron Wheeler.
Example right there now. Wheeler's ability to hold the ball can create opportunities in the attack.
Cue the wall. It's Tom Parrott with a nice touch to Stefan DeFrager. DeFrager with the cross, nobody home. Well defended by Charlotte.
But good attacking play now by the Hammerheads. This is an interesting game. Now they're starting to get it. Usually it's the opposing team that sits back. They came out. Wilmington was sitting back. Now the Hammerheads are really starting to play, and Carson Porter has to like what he's seen in the last 5 minutes. Once again, using Wheeler as that target has made a difference.
Daniel Jackson wins back possession for Independence. And it's Enzo Martinez reversing field to the far end.
Reverse field about 3 or 4 times that time. I don't think anybody knew what he was doing. That's the problem with Martinez. He's very dynamic, very creative, but sometimes he overdoes it a bit.
I think you could probably say the same a bit about Q the Wall. On the other hand, for Wilmington, great talent, but just you need to know when you got to give that ball up sometimes. And the Wall, sometimes he just puts his head down and looks to dribble through a couple of defenders.
Joe, you hit it right. He's a young man out of Nigeria, played in Chicago. He hadn't had that much formal training, but he's dangerous like when he gets forward now.
Looking for Wheeler across the middle. Another good run. Yeah, very dangerous. Q the Wall, explosive speed. And you mix him up top with Aaron Wheeler. I mean, that's many clubs in the USL. I don't know if they can find 2 better forwards.
And that's what he can do. He can get free. He's very fast. He's very quick, very elusive, and he served that ball. And Aaron Wheeler has been so close 2 or 3 times to getting on the scoreboard.
It'll be Corbin Bone. Volleys off one touch. Sends a bender wide right.
Bit optimistic by Corbin Bone that time, but at least he takes a chance. That's a better situation. Take the shot from long range. Maybe you get an opportunity. When you're in tight, serve the ball. He did it better. And Corbin Bone is picking up his effort. I like what we're seeing from the Hammerheads in the last 5-10 minutes.
And another one of these things I hear the PA announcer kind of in the background. We talked about the Wilmington Hammerheads, or you and I haven't talked about it much, but obviously in past broadcasts with, and a nice touch there is off the foot of, looked like it was Jackson, just too far off that first touch.
Well, looking for the speed of Jackson, you're absolutely right. His first touch got away from him. That's really creative play by Martinez. That's what he needs to do. Get in the attack, create things very, very quickly. He's a very, very creative player with lots of good instincts. He can pull a surprise play that can unhinge a defense.
Getting back to what I was saying, just Wilmington has done a great job here over the last 2 years under their new management, new ownership, and really embedding themselves in the community. Obviously have taken over the youth program here, hosting a goalkeeper academy this fall, and I think those things are eventually going to produce more homegrown players that may play for UNC Wilmington, end up signing one day here with their local pro club.
When I came in tonight, Joe, I couldn't even find you. There were so many young people around, and it looked like a carnival atmosphere.
Wheeler looking for the handball inside the penalty area. No call.
Aaron Wheeler really wanted the hand on that, and I think he had a valid case. That's a hard strike by him. He has been very effective thus far, and I know that Carson Porter doesn't care until it gets in the back of the net, but you've got to like what you've seen out of Wheeler. He's been a handful for the Charlotte defense to handle.
Play will continue now with a turnover as Nicholson's going to have to go cut off the angle. He does so. Andre Rawls will come scoop it up.
Only concern I've had, a little bit of carelessness with the ball in the back on a couple of times. Tarblieb coming back that particular time. Nicholson gave one up early. Campbell a couple times. Got to be careful you don't give the ball up, because with players like Martinez and Jackson and the young man Calvert up front, they can capitalize the Independents if you give that ball away.
And while that defense has looked stout throughout most of the season, it's been towards the latter part of the match pretty much each and every week that there has been, I don't want to call it laziness, but I just maybe tired legs or whatever it is, but it seems like, they play about 70, 80 minutes of action, and then a late goal turns the other way, and the opponents seem to come away with victory.
A little bit scary there as you've got Rawls running and finally getting the ball away. This is what we talked about, and you just can't afford that. As we see, good counterattack, though, from the Hammerheads here. What my point is this, Joe, that I think one of the things that happens when you're not having success, when you're frustrated, then you don't keep that spirit up. You're not as alert. You're prone to these careless misses to goal. You lose a game 1-0 or 2-1 or 2-0, and that's been the story of the Hammerhead season.
Nice play off the head of Wheeler to cue Lawal, approaching the final third as he digs into the box with the left-footed strike. Tough angle there for Lawal. Better suited there to cross that ball into the middle of the pitch.
First principle of shooting, accuracy rather than power. He was in a position to score. He hit the ball so hard that, if it goes in, it knocks the goalkeeper, Burner, through the net. That's not the objective. Get the ball on the frame. I have to fault Lawal for that time last time. And again, Wheeler will get in front of that goal. Look for him. Look for the other players. But above all, don't shoot it wide of the near post. You don't give your teammates any more chance. It's a goal kick, as you just saw.
Jack Metcalf for Charlotte will look for Jackson again on the run. As the Wilmington Hammerheads defense retreats, it'll be Jackson splitting the defenders. One last touch just too far. But you could see his explosiveness as he just split those defenders with ease.
He has tremendous speed, Daniel Jackson, and it's a good thing they have Andre Campbell on the side to mark him, but it's a good thing for the effort of Troy Cole. His last-minute touch denied a scoring chance for Jackson. Once again, Troy Cole out of Mount Olive College. Nobody had heard of him. And Mount Olive, fine school, hour up the way, but they're not producing pros. This is not a school that Barcelona or Real Madrid looks to if they want to get a young American player.
It's Jackson back to Metcalf. Phil Piccolo.
Haven't called his name for a while, and that's maybe one of the reasons why they've lost a little bit of possession. Going to Del Piccolo really set the tone early for the Independents.
It'll be Bone playing the ball through to Wheeler. Tough first touch. Charlotte takes over at midfield. Del Piccolo with the left foot to Jackson. Metcalf.
Charlotte likes Metcalf to come forward down that right side. Very good crosser of the ball, and he's caused some problems when he has been able to get forward.
Good job by Bone to win it back for Wilmington, looking for DeFrager on the far sideline. DeFrager at a full sprint. Kept it in play, but
just so close. That's a second really good cross by Ross Tomaselli. I guess it's only...
It'll be Metcalf again, looking good job attacking Tomaselli and Campbell to win the ball back for the moment. Play continues now. Corbin Bone. Good job by Wilmington. Did not hear the whistle. Sometimes younger players obviously anticipating a call there may stop, may hesitate. Bone, a seasoned veteran, obviously continues play.
Younger players and also people like Enzo Martinez. He's a very good player when he stops worrying about theatrics and getting referees call. He's very dangerous, very creative, but sometimes he gets caught too much in the theatrics of the game.
30 minutes into tonight's contest here in Wilmington, North Carolina, 0-0 between the Hammerheads and Independence. Thoughts, Richard, on this first half so far?
Well, I think the Hammerheads have to be pleased. They were sort of back on their heels a little bit early. They made a couple mistakes in the back, got away with them. In the last 15 minutes, they've been the dominant team. But once again, same story, Joe, we've had all year. The Hammerheads have to get some goals, but I think they need to stick with Wheeler. He may not be fit enough to go 90, but boy, has he been dangerous. He's been the most dangerous player on the field so far. Keep looking for him as a target. Keep looking for him with crosses and driven balls into the box.
Good job by Bone to win the ball back for Wilmington. Aaron Wheeler with some space. Will play to the left side. Cue the wall. Will wind up. Hesitates. Nobody there in the middle. As the ball comes back out to Tom Parrott. Parrott will send a cross in. Turned away by number 15, Bilal Duckett. Parrott to Frager. Offside flag is up.
Joe, you asked a question a while ago. What do the Hammerheads have to do? I think they have to keep looking for Wheeler. I'm beating this horse to death, I realize. But one of the things about it, about the Charlotte team, is they're good defensively. They're not big defensively. Bilal Duckett is a very slender player. He played outside back at Notre Dame. And Ribeiro is a good header of the ball, but he's not a huge guy. They have a definite size advantage, the Hammerheads, if they go to Wheeler. Let's take advantage of that every time, especially when you have a restart.
They get those big bodies in there, and obviously you've seen a couple of opportunities there for Wheeler, among others. As to Frager. Play it back to Bone. Now it'll be Charlotte on the attack. Campbell will step in. Good job. It gets the top of the ball. It's Jackson and Metcalf working side by side. Nicholson in good position, and now Campbell will turn it away.
Excellent positioning by Nicholson. That's why they're playing him back there. He's oftentimes in the midfield, but he's a very experienced player. As we said, both he and Tom Parrott, over 100 games in this league. Their veteran experience is important for the Hammerheads.
It'll be Bone off the push. Easy whistle there.
That's one of the things that Corbin Bone can do. He's good running forward with the ball. He's the attacking presence, whereas Zeb Toblier stays in the back. And Toblier stays in the back. And they've formed a very good partnership. And the Hammerheads have had good control in the midfield through Bone and through Toblier, and they've gotten good play from the outside midfielders as well.
So Caleb Calvert, obviously with his hands on Corbin Bone, issued a yellow card, the first of the night. So he will play with a caution for the remainder of tonight's match.
Young man has not really had that much of an impact on the game thus far. Very promising player, only in his second start on loan from the Colorado Rapids, but he's been very quiet. Nicholson and Cole have done a very good job defensively in the middle of the Hammerhead defense.
And you look at these two sides, and while Charlotte is fighting for a playoff position, tonight at least, looks like the Wilmington side is maybe the better football club this evening. So far.
This is what you want. This is the kind of effort. And these guys are pros. They have pride, and let's see who has it. You want that guy who's going to play in the last game of the season, nothing at stake. That's when you show a little bit of character, and that's what you build on. There's plenty to build on here. There's some good players in this franchise. Jason Arnold has gone and gotten some players from all over the world and brought in some good people, and I know that Carson Porter feels good about some of these Wake Forest players that he used to coach when he was with Jay Vidovich there at Wake, and they built a national contender and national champion at Wake Forest. So you've got the ingredients here. Again, I'm not high on that play from Martinez. Is sort of optimistic to play a bicycle kick in there. The young man has talent, but he needs to discipline it more effectively.
It's Metcalf. Will send a long bender in, a little too far out of the reach of Caleb Calvert, playing back in Nicholson once again. Good spot. The one-timer turned away. Campbell tries to clear, unable to do so. Look at that ball skip around on that turf.
You're right. On the artificial turf, I was never a big fan of it, perhaps because you had to play fast, and that certainly wasn't my forte. I think I got arrested or cited for loitering a couple times when I was playing. So it's a faster game here on the artificial turf. But it is a good turf, and we need to keep control. We're getting another caution issued to an independent player. I believe it's Bilal Duckett.
Yeah, we saw the foul called on the wall, and he tried a quick restart off the free kick, and Duckett just didn't get out of the way and actually just stood right in front of him. The ball deflected, and the official had enough of that.
And Enzo Martinez always has a comment to make to the officials. He should be on a first-name basis with most of these guys by now. He's got to just be quiet and keep playing. I love the guy's ability to make things happen, but he just has to not let the distractions take him out of the game.
Obviously marking Wheeler once again to Frager in the backdrop as the throw-in granted to Charlotte.
Stefan DeFrager, hard-working young man, as we say, unpublicized boy out of New Hampshire. Went to local school, Dartmouth, did very well. It's a great program there, but he was just a cog in a very effective wheel. And but he stayed with it, and that's a lesson to be learned. There's places for players all over this country, in the USL, in Major League Soccer as well. Just work and be disciplined.
Well, there's no question that the talent level has definitely risen over the years here in the U.S. as more and more kids get into the sport in an early age and then stick with it.
And I have to like what Charlotte has done. Most of these players have had good college careers. They're local players. The Hammerheads, on the other hand, a bit more of a blend, but they've used some very good local players, and Jason Arnold and Carson Porter have gotten people not only from overseas, but they brought in some good local players as well. Nice blend here, and I think it can happen. I think they just need patience and maybe a couple more pieces. And, boy, if Aaron Wheeler could just find that net, I think the lid is going to come off, and he could be a very good player for this team.
And really it's just about getting a break or two to get that confidence back that they've lacked throughout part of the season, or much of the season, which is 17 goals this year. Some of those players aren't even on the club anymore.
Right. Well, you're going to have some turnover. Some of these players an opportunity to move up. Joe, one of the things I think the Hammerheads have to address at halftime is they're starting to play a lot of long balls all the way up top, and that just causes players like Q and Aaron Wheeler to get tired. They're doing well in the midfield, and their midfielders can control the ball. That's what Carson Porter wants, and when they do that, they're most effective, and they can use Wheeler as a target as they just did there.
And we saw more of that towards the 20-minute mark, and they've kind of went back to just playing these long balls, and yeah, definitely a conversation, talking piece and point will come up at the break as we approach the 40th minute here tonight, 0-0 between the Hammerheads and Charlotte Independence. Thursday night soccer here on YouTube. Nicholson whistled for the foul, hands all over Martinez. Now Enzo getting into it once again with the official. with the referee looking for a card.
They made the call. You're not going to get a call in that play. I thought Paul Nicholson was going to get away with it. It was a very obvious push. The play was made, and Martinez just has to just get on with the game. Because when players like Nicholson, savvy vets, see that, they're just going to keep egging him on, and next thing you know, he's lost his rhythm and perspective. Otherwise, they've done a good job. This is a dangerous team, Charlotte, and when Del Piccolo has the ball, he can serve the ball just about anywhere in the park.
Good job by Martinez to keep it in play. Plays it off Campbell. Now it's Toblieb. We'll look for Lawal. Lawal and Duckett wrestling side to side.
See a little frustration from Q that time. Bilal Duckett out of Notre Dame. Disciplined, solid player, played for Bobby Clark. One of the best. And I'm not surprised that he's become an excellent pro. It's a good run by Raphael Coxon serving that ball into the box. Well defended by the Hammerheads.
You saw his speed just take off, was 2 steps faster than Tom Parrott there, was able to send that cross in. Nobody following. A little chip by Metcalf will turn into a goal kick.
That's what Metcalf likes to do, get down the flanks. We haven't seen Jack Thompson get down the flanks quite as much on the other side. He's a more conservative player playing on the left side for Charlotte. Young man out of Messiah College. A lot of people don't know that name, but they have won like 7 or 8 of the last 11 or 12 national championships Division III. It's a tremendous program built by Dave Brandt, who is now the coach at Navy, and just a tremendous program there. And Thompson, I saw him play in college. He was a good one then, and he translated into his pro career.
Jack Metcalf to Marlon Hairston. Ribeiro looks to regroup for Charlotte. So you approach the final couple of minutes here in the first half. Good job by Duckett to keep the play alive. It'll be Hairston with the left-footed strike, gets underneath it.
Sometimes there's a difference between attractiveness and effectiveness. Doesn't always deliver, and that shot there was just a waste. It wasn't anywhere near the goal, and really, Charlotte has a similar problem to the Hammerheads. They just are not really that potent a scoring attack. I think the Hammerheads are much more dangerous, especially when they find Wheeler. Little argument here about exactly where we're going to place the ball. It seems like it's a little silly. I would think that Del Piccolo would be taking it, but apparently not. A little bit of change. They want the in-swinging ball from the right-footed player. Bringing a couple of defenders back forward. They may be looking for Bilal Duckett on this.
Turned away by Wheeler, Aaron Wheeler. And just another shot skied into the air. As the lights begin to fully engulf the pitch tonight here in Wilmington. Sun is set.
Beautiful afternoon once the rains went past, and a beautiful evening to play. Again, some of the players here may have to be subbed because they haven't had the full 90 minutes, but it's a nice night to play, and so I think that both Mike Jeffries and Carson Porter will be tempted to maybe go with these lineups. I don't think either of them is really dissatisfied except with the play in the attacking third. The finishing has not been good.
Nice play there by Enzo Martinez. Was looking for Cox on the far side. That was DeFrager onside. Burner Good job anticipating.
Excellent job by Burner coming out using his head to make the play 10 yards above the penalty area.
And the left-footed shot will go wide from Enzo Martinez.
That was not a bad effort by Martinez. We've been a little bit critical of him, and I think with just cause. But, boy, he can do some magic, and he's a guy that can change a game if you let him. Not sure how.
We had Monday off to try and get our rest back, a recovery day. Tuesday we went really hard, and yesterday was just really light. We barely done anything, so hopefully we're all ready to go tonight.
Now, going up against a Charlotte team that is fighting for that 6th and final playoff spot. Now, unfortunately, you guys kind of out of the mix for the postseason this year, but what it would be to be able to play a spoiler role here in the latter part of the season to get a result tonight against Charlotte.
Yeah, the results haven't went our way this season, but like our coach said tonight, we're just going to go out and give everything. The fans have been here all week in, week out when we haven't had the results, so we're just going to do it for them, I think.
You're a veteran player here in Wilmington. How has your experience been with the Wilmington Hammerheads throughout the course of your career?
It's been amazing, really, from start to finish. I've loved every minute of it. Obviously this season's been disappointing, but you just got to move on for it and just play for the next game. Just keep moving on and working hard.
All right, lastly, we're here with Will Heaney, a veteran player for the Wilmington Hammerheads. And Will, as you head towards the final 4 matches of the season, we've had great crowds here at Legion Stadium throughout the year. You get 3 more home games, so really looking forward to try to put these home fans, put them on a positive note to end the season with a couple of results, hopefully.
Oh yeah, 100%. We're just looking. Obviously, there's 3 games. The fans have been out here every week. They haven't seen many results here at Legion, but we're going to give everything, like I said, these last 3 games, and just hopefully they'll end the season happy.
Will Heaney, a Wilmington Hammerheads FC midfielder, our player spotlight tonight here at Legion Stadium. We'll take a quick break. We'll get to the second half of action between your Wilmington Hammerheads and Charlotte Independence right after this.
Looking for action, excitement, and the only professional team in town? Don't miss out on the next Wilmington Hammerheads match. Show your support at their next game. Get your season tickets or single game tickets now at WilmingtonHammerheads.com.
Back here at Legion Stadium in Wilmington, North Carolina, USL Soccer here on YouTube, getting ready for the second half between Wilmington Hammerheads FC and Charlotte Independence. 0-0 alongside Richard Broad. I'm Joe Katz, bringing you exclusive coverage here tonight in the southeast corner of the Tar Heel State. It's always interesting when I try to describe where Wilmington, North Carolina is. Usually I just say about an hour and a half ride north of Myrtle Beach, because that's the closest landmark, I guess you can say, because we are kind of tucked in the armpit, so to speak, of North Carolina.
Well, I know exactly where it is. I grew up in Wilmington, Delaware, so it was natural I'd come down to Wilmington, North Carolina, and marry a woman from Wilmington, North Carolina. I'm surrounded by Wilmington all my life.
Well, there are plenty of beautiful women from Wilmington, North Carolina. I can tell you that for sure.
Very happy with the one I found.
We live on the coast of the Tar Heel State, and getting ready for the second half, it'll be Wilmington moving left to right on your screen. Charlotte will take the opening kick. No score between these two clubs, Richard, as we kind of get underway to start the second half, the final 45 minutes of action. Maybe just some thoughts on that first half.
Well, I thought it was pretty even half, and I'm not surprised there are no substitutions. Both coaches happen to be happy. It's an important game, obviously, for Charlotte, and the Hammerheads want to be the spoiler, and they've done a good job after letting Charlotte have their way a little bit in the first 15 minutes. I thought the Hammerheads had a little bit the better of it for the last 30 minutes.
Well, as we head into the final 45 now, you would think that Charlotte, of course, looking for a result, hanging around the final sixth and final spot on the outside, currently in 8th place, 2 points back from that sixth and final spot. So a draw, of course, would earn them a point in the standings.
They need more than a draw. I think they need at least a draw and a win in these 2 matches, and maybe 2 wins. And I wouldn't be surprised to see them bring some attacking substitutes on in the second half.
And for Wilmington, really just something that we've been harping on all season, just about finishing your chances right now.
It is. They've got to keep finding Wheeler, and Q as a player can be very dangerous, as you pointed out, Joe.
It'll be DeFrager on the near side. Turnover goes to Rafael Cox, and now it's DePiccolo wrestling with Corbin Bone, and DePiccolo loses control. The throw in quickly from DeFrager to Wheeler. Tough first touch by Wheeler, but he's able to regain possession. And Wheeler's moving forward.
That's a good example of what Wheeler provides. Not a good first touch. Won it back, just overpowered Marlon Hairston to get that ball and create an opportunity for the Hammerheads.
And it'll be a deep throw in here for Charlotte. The Hammerheads start to line up some numbers here on the near sideline. It'll go right to Tom Parrott. And now it's Q the Wall with the right-footed shot. In perfect position is Berner, the goalkeeper for Charlotte.
Very good goalkeeping by Berner that time. And Lawal getting the ball in the frame. Much better effort than we saw in the first half.
Andre Campbell wrestling with Duckett on the far side. It looks like we'll have a foul called on Bilal Duckett.
In this frustrating season for the Hammerheads, they have been able to rely on Andre Campbell. He's had a very, very solid season. He was injured last year when Carson Porter took over, but he just came back and has had an excellent season. He should be very proud of his effort in the 2015 campaign.
Piccolo will play to the near side to Jack Thompson. Like, I haven't called his name too much tonight.
Now, he's more of a defensive presence, Ken, the young man out of Messiah, who's just a typical Messiah player, very honest, hardworking, athletic. Saw him play in college and thought he was a pro prospect, and he's proved me right.
Cox looking for Del Piccolo, spoiled by Tom Parrott.
Well, there's another steady performer. Tom Parrott, you always know you're going to get a full day's work from him.
So Andre Rawls here tested for the moment. A little collision there near the end line. Rawls able to get to the highest point. Kind of doesn't need any assistance.
And told Calvert to go somewhere else. Rawls very sure-handed, good shot saver. That ball was way up in the sky. It could have been very tricky and very treacherous. Rawls doing an excellent job of dealing with it.
Skying for that ball at its highest point, able to scoop it out of the air.
Exactly right. Getting at the highest point. You must have done some goalkeeper training, my friend. I think that's an excellent point for all the young goalkeepers to keep in mind. Take that ball at the height and don't bring it down.
Hammerheads will, nope, it'll be Charlotte with the throw-in. Nope, it'll be Wilmington with the throw-in. Looking to move it quickly to Aaron Wheeler. Looking for a handball. Everyone kind of freezes for the moment. No whistle.
I don't think you had to look too hard for handball. I think there was one in that situation.
Del Piccolo.
Big left foot. He can really dictate play with that left foot.
Campbell was looking to clear. Instead, ball kind of find its way to Charlotte. Back to Del Piccolo. We'll go back to the left foot, and there's Campbell.
Very well read by Campbell. And now he's getting forward down the left side.
That's something we've seen from him throughout the course of this year. Not much tonight.
Well, he has the pace. He has the athletic ability to do it. And he's probably, if you have a most valuable player on the Hammerheads in the course of the season, he's got to be one of the nominees. And there's what we see again. This is Wheeler going down, but they have to foul him to take him down. Every time the Hammerheads have looked for Wheeler, good things have happened. And they just haven't been able to finish, but he's been a real presence. And on the other side, Del Piccolo, I think, has been the most effective player for Charlotte, spraying the ball all sorts of places in the park from out of his deep-lying midfield position.
So we'll have a free kick for Wilmington. 51st minute of action, early stages of the second half, 0-0 between the Hammerheads and Charlotte Independence. Ball played in, looking for Wheeler, of course, off that first touch, cleared away by Jack Metcalf.
Wheeler can win every one of these balls in the air, and if they're going to shut him down, is the Independents. They're going to need a couple people to do it, and that'll open up space for other players to get in the attack.
Little nifty touch there by Aaron Wheeler to Stefan DeFrager.
I would not be surprised if we saw Sonny Jane come on for Carson Porter's team. He's a very quick player. He'd be a nice compliment to Wheeler if they keep Wheeler on.
Wheeler goes down, and a good foul call there, so it's going to be a good chance here, good service chance for the Hammerheads.
Honestly, I am not Aaron Wheeler's agent, but I like what he does. Charlotte has no answer for him. Just keep playing in the ball. He creates restarts, gives possession to the attacking third, and if you get the ball on his head in the air, he can finish in the box.
Q Lawal will take the free kick for Wilmington. Aaron Wheeler on the far post, and Lawal just skies it. Very frustrating.
One of the reasons why they have not had success, lack of discipline. You've got a free kick. It's the only situation in the game. They put the ball down. There's nobody defending it. You place it where you want. That wasn't even close to Wheeler or anybody else on the Hammerheads for that matter.
Yeah, that ball was headed towards the Cape Fear River.
Not many goals have been scored from there.
No. And now it's Jackson on the run. Nice deflection there. Look, it was Troy Cole in the mix there for Wilmington.
Boy, that's a great job by Cole. That's about the second or third time he's got that last touch to deny Charlotte a chance to score. Good creative play by Jackson, using his speed and looking for his teammates in the box.
Now it's Tom Parrott called for the infraction as Raphael Cox goes down.
Tom Parrott is a fighter. He just brings it. The guy just brings his lunch pail, rolls up the socks, and gets on with it. I love the attitude, the professionalism of Tom Parrott.
Enzo Martinez will look to throw a bender into the penalty area.
And he can do it. He's got magic on that foot.
He's going to go to the far side. Rawls, well played. Had it marked the whole time as it goes out of play.
And once again, here I am, member of the Aaron Wheeler fan club. He's so good in the air, they bring him back to help defend on that. With him in there, with Paul Nicholson in there, and with a goalkeeper like Andre Rawls, not much of a chance for Charlotte to score on a restart, at least not in the air.
Again, that word is pledge. SLEDGE to 79274 for your chance to win 2 VIP tickets to an upcoming home match.
Once again, Del Piccolo trying to make a play on that. Has to go around Wheeler to get it. Doesn't make the play. It goes out of bounds. And Wheeler is just given the Hammerheads so much possession. If only he could put one in the back of the net.
Charlotte now moving forward. It's Martinez on the far side for Jackson. Daniel Jackson Andre Campbell, well defended.
Great job by Campbell. I thought Jackson was through. Good pass by Martinez, setting him up. Jackson's speed, and Campbell matches him.
Corbin Bone. Eyes to Tom Parrott, to Frager. Little miscommunication there with Q Lawal. It'll be Del Piccolo turning it over for Charlotte. Campbell and Martinez with a little contact there. Troy Cole will step forward and play to Aaron Wheeler. Wheeler with a long-range shot there, looking to catch Burner off his line.
He did have Burner off his line. A little bit too ambitious by Wheeler at particular time, but nothing else seems to be working. It's maybe they can score from 60 yards. A little bit of a risky ball there, back there by Corbin Bone, and he gets away with it.
And it's Bone on the counter, looking for Lawal. Burner way out of play. It's Lawal wrestling with Burner. Lawal put it. A little more patience from Q Lawal there. Had to Frager on the right side. It would have been one touch and an easy goal with an open net.
That's a great ball ahead by Corbin Bone. A little critical of him for the previous play, but he picked that ball up and played it through. A great opportunity for Wall. Burner has to come out because he caught the defense running back to its own goal. Wall, just lay it in the goal. Just put it in on the ground. You know, they don't get extra points for hitting it harder.
Corbin Bone in the action again. It's Aaron Wheeler. Ball turned over. Nice play by Hairston, who takes over possession for Charlotte. Looking for Cox on the left side. Cox will wind and strike, deflected away by Tom Parrott. It's DeFrager on the counter now as things start to open up here over the last few minutes.
That play by Parrott doesn't appear in the scorebook. It's just a blocked shot, but it's a really good effort.
Great ball across field to Stefan DeFrager, and he'll win the corner kick for Wilmington.
And this is a chance. You've got Aaron Wheeler. He's the biggest man on the pitch. Get the ball to his head. Even if he can't score directly, maybe he can knock it down and someone looks for that second ball in the box. Make the most of these restarts. They're great chances for score.
It'll be Tom Parrott on the corner for the Hammerheads. Parrott will look for Wheeler. Ball deflected out by Charlotte, and it'll be another corner kick.
I'm not sure about that one. That ball went beyond Wheeler, was headed by another Hammerhead player. I don't think it touched anybody else. It's really strange. And sometimes when that happens, a team just gets disconcerted. I think that had to be a goal kick. So many times, though, you get a score or a chance to score when the call is a little bit questionable.
It'll be Tom Parrott once again for the Hammerheads. Paul Nicholson getting mixed and matched in there. One of the undersized players for Wilmington. That'll be Parrott looking for Wheeler again. Looked like somebody got a piece on that ball. Parrott will now play out to Corbin Bone. And an easy foul called on Enzo Martinez, who kind of just throws his hands up in disgust. Nifty play there by Corbin Bone.
I don't think Enzo Martinez has ever committed a foul in the course of his career. That time, though, Corbin Bone had a chance to get that ball crossed in. Two good corner services from Parrott. He could have served it in again. He thought Bone had a better chance, and Bone should have gotten that ball in.
We'll have Parrott on the free kick. Parrott turned away. It'll be Tablieb, who fired it in from just outside the 18-yard mark, just inside. It looked like the ball was deflected.
A lot of goals come from that point, the top of the box, and that's a great strike by Taubli because that was on frame. He didn't try to kick it too hard. He put it on the frame, and it almost got a result. It almost got through.
It'll be the third consecutive corner kick. Tom Parrott this time looking for DeFrager. It's Nicholson in the mix. And Q Lawal looked like able to deflect it back to Tablib. We'll send a cross into Wheeler off the header, right to the goalkeeper, Burner.
Put that ball in Wheeler's head. He's going to beat everybody on the park for that ball. 3 or 4 excellent balls in by Tom Parrott. Every one of those was a well-taken corner. Nothing special, just put it in, gave his team a chance. That's the most dangerous sequence that the Hammerheads have had all day long because they just do the fundamental things right. It'll fall into place.
Jack Thompson with the left foot. Finds Martinez with some space, looking to plow his way through, bulldoze his way through a couple of defenders unsuccessfully. And Aaron Wheeler will play back out here to Tom Parrott on the near side.
Good, sensible soccer by Parrott. You watch the game, and he just does things the right way.
Corbin Bone looking for Wheeler on the run. Burner again, very aggressive.
You have to wonder now how much Aaron Wheeler has left. He's worked very hard for 60-plus minutes. Will they sub him? I'd keep him on just on the chance you can find him with a ball in that head. Don't let him come back so much. Keep him up there and look for him in the attacking third.
As now it's Corbin Bone back to Tom Parrott. As Charlotte looks to go to the bench for the first time. But it's DeFrager for Wilmington in front to Lawal. Lawal with a lofty cross. And Burner is right there to scoop it out of the air.
And that's not Lawal's fault. A good ball. He didn't have any other options, but nobody's making the run. Now, maybe Wheeler is out of gas. He can't make the run. Corbin Bone wasn't in a good position to get there, but it was a good ball in by Lawal, who's a very capable player, just has to pick his moments a little bit more selectively and a little more intelligently. Hammerhead's really getting a hold of this game now. They've gotten stronger and stronger as the game's gone on.
Corbin Bone to DeFrager. Tom Parrott on the run now. Up the near flank. He's going to sky one that flies over the left edge of the crossbar.
Well, that wasn't the ball that Parrott needed to do. He's done well up into that point. He's got to get the ball in front of the goal, give your teammates a chance. The ball goes over the end. Everybody else has made the runs. And if you serve balls like that, your teammates are not going to keep running, especially a big player like Wheeler who's done so much work already.
We have a couple of substitutions now looking to come in for Charlotte.
Capelli Sports is the club's official apparel supplier. Visit CapelliSport.com to get the latest gear to meet all your sportswear and teamwear needs. Area Scotchman stores, where all your tailgating and game day needs are met.
Looks like Del Piccolo will go off.
That's an interesting move to bring him out of the field. He was very dominant the first 15 minutes. And
Del Piccolo, Martinez are all off. Got a couple fresh set of legs in for Charlotte, almost like a line change here. Well, 57, Carlos Alvarez will enter the match. Let me see if I can get the rest of the numbers here. 3 substitutions for Charlotte in this last stoppage. Ryan Finley will also take the pitch. So it'll be Finley in the midfield, Alvarez, or Finley up front. And now it's DeFrager.
I think they brought on Captain George A. Herrera, who's been injured a good part of the season. So, Ryan Finley's on. He's a very interesting player, Joe, a guy that had He was at Duke for a while. He left Duke, went to Notre Dame. He was a candidate for the Herman Award. Very talented but very emotional player. And if he can just control those emotions, he is very dangerous. He's physically got all the attributes.
So Carlos Alvarez, Ryan Finley, and Jorge Herrera all on for Charlotte. And as you kind of allotted to earlier in this half, Sonny Jane looks to be coming on now for Wilmington as he heads to midfield. But it's Alvarez looking for Cox. The cross finds the head of Troy Cole.
The more open the game, the better it is for Sonny Jane. At Maryland, he was a guy who could just play with a lot of good players. They dominated games, and there was room for Sonny Jane to open it up, and he was very effective. He's not found the right situation yet as a pro, but he can be a very good player, and maybe this is the role for him to come on with about 20 minutes left in the game and combine up front.
Finley was looking for, it looked like it was Jackson on that far side. Finley will now take it over. But it's to Frager on the counter for Wilmington. Corbin Bone will scan the field. Leave for Tablieb. Troy Cole to Tom Parrott.
Mistake by Parrott, gave that ball away, but good coverage by Cole, who's just been very quietly doing an excellent job in the back, challenging, and the defense for the Hammerheads has just been rock solid after a couple early careless balls. They've been very good since about the 15th minute on.
So Aaron Wheeler will go off for Sonny Jane.
And I do understand this. Wheeler did a lot of work. It's a shame. I think the reason he's coming off now is he's just gassed. He's played 65 minutes. He's played hard. He's given them everything but what they want most, which is a goal. I would like to have seen Sonny Jane be able possibly to combine with Wheeler because now they've got a different combination. And I think Jane would be good next to a big player like Wheeler who can absorb the physical stuff.
There's Sonny Jane making the run. Right down the middle of the field, streaking, looking for the pass from Tom Parrott. Burner picks it up for Charlotte. Independence look to go on the attack.
You see what they're doing now. The Hammerheads are pushing Lawal Q up front, and Sonny Jane plays in underneath him, and that's a better role for Sonny Jane. Not really a target player, although he is quick. He's better playing underneath, and I don't know if he's going to be playing with Lawal any longer. It looks like he's coming out.
Looks like Will Heaney will take over for Q Lawal. So two new forwards for Carson. Porter, Coach Porter.
Substitution number 21, Will Heaney on for Hughes Lawal.
So Heaney will take over for the wall. Sonny Jane replaces Aaron Wheeler as both teams kind of look for some new attackers here in the final 20 or so minutes tonight.
Will Heaney has not seen a lot of time this year. Maybe he's the guy that can provide an answer in the last 20 minutes.
Nicholson to Troy Cole to Corbin Bone. Finds Sonny Jane. Jane turns it right back over to Charlotte.
Sonny Jane's got to make some connections. You just can't give the ball away like that.
No, it's Herrera was looking to counter for the Independents. Unable to do so.
The Independents has changed their midfield. They've got some good players. Herrera and Carlos Alvarez was a star at Connecticut. Second player in the draft the year that he came out. And not fulfilled that potential, but he was a very, very good player for Ray Reid and that excellent program there out of Stores.
It was Carlos Alvarez to Ryan Finley.
Joe, like you said, a tie gives the Charlotte Independents a point, and then they're going home where they have to be favored in their home yard. But if they're going to be a playoff team, they're going to be a factor in the playoffs, they need to go and be able to beat a team that is in the bottom of the table. I think the Hammerheads have done very, very well, and they still have a chance, and give them a lot of credit. They're playing to win. The substitutions are designed to give them more of a chance to do so.
Tomaselli to Andre Campbell.
Haven't really called Tomaselli's name a lot. That's just because he does a good, steady job. Guy that just completes the puzzle.
Nice move there by Finley, but Tom Parrott cuts off the angle. Paul Nicholson gets in the mix, forces the turnover. Nope, and now it's Hairston with some space, looking for Alvarez. Alvarez plays through to Finley. And it'll be a goal kick, as Finley may have thought that it was off a Wilmington player last. That's why he didn't play it. And they will be granted the corner kick now.
It was a strange sequence. Finley was running on that ball. It looked like he just plain out and out couldn't get there, as if he thought it was going to be a goal kick. Ends up being a corner, and this is a great opportunity at the end of the game when you get your opponent's back, tired legs. Maybe you get a goal off a restart.
And it's Herrera. Finds the head and the back of the net off number 16, Daniel Jackson. Nope, it was, let me see. Yeah, it looks like it was 16, Daniel Jackson with
Daniel
the goal.
Jackson. It is, in fact, Joe, Daniel Jackson. Very nice corner, and the Hammerheads, they've had the game in hand. One mental breakdown, and Jackson capitalized. He's the biggest player on the team. Pretty good in the air, not sensational in the air, but he comes through and gets the goal.
So Jackson finishes the corner kick from Herrera. Corner kicks few and far between for the Independents tonight, but they're able to capitalize here late in the match for the 1-goal lead.
I want to make another point. That corner kick from Herrera, the captain of the team, savvy veteran, puts the ball where it needs to be. And how many times has Martinez had an opportunity to do the same thing and not done that? Give Mike Jeffries a lot of credit. His substitution making a difference in this game. And Herrera, that's not a hard substitution because he's a brilliant player. But he comes on the right time, coming back from injury, serves the corner, and they take full advantage.
So yet another late goal here allowed by the Wilmington Hammerheads, who now trail 1-0 with less than 20 minutes to play here tonight. I think we'll go back to the bench. Coach Porter will. DeFrager offside.
Well, Joe, you've dealt with it all season long. It's just been a very tough season for the Hammerheads, and not that this game's over. We still got over 15 minutes to play, but they seem to build it up. They play good soccer. They control the ball. They get opportunities, and then that one letdown. And it's like, wow, what do we have to do to score? And then you forget about defending, and next thing you know, you're behind the 8 ball.
So we'll have another sub as Justin Moose replaces Ross Tomaselli.
This is the right move. Justin Moose, former MLS player, out of Wake Forest. He's had a brilliant career in MLS. He's not produced a lot of goals and a lot of scoring here. And he's on for Ross Tomaselli. He can give you some attack, but he had a real good career. I wouldn't say brilliant. I'm a bit exaggerating there, but a good career in MLS, and he just does not produce the goals, the stats here for the Hammerheads.
As Moose is able to win that ball back for Wilmington. Bone plays it right into the head of Raphael Cox.
not where you want to play that ball. He's a better player than that. Corbin Bone is a really good passer of the ball, but he can sometimes be a bit casual.
Now it's Sonny Jane. Beautiful play there by Justin Moose to continue possession. Looking for DeFrager here on the near side. DeFrager gets by one defender and tapped out by Herrera.
It's just an excellent play by Herrera. The young first-year player, DeFrager, trying to get by him. He did get by him, and Herrera just using his body so well, and I think DeFrager is down, maybe cramping up on the sideline. But hasn't Herrera made a huge impact on this game just by doing little things right? That's what the Hammerheads are missing. They need to do those little things. Corbin Bone, with a chance to make a play, just doesn't make the pass that he's capable of. I like Justin Moose on that play. Good technical ability, good switching of play. He's a player with immaculate technique, not a big player, but he can have a difference, and he should have fresh legs. Let's see if he can have an impact in the last 15 minutes.
It'll be a Charlotte throw-in as Herrera throws it right into the head of Tom Parrott. It's Corbin Bone, Paul Nicholson will play right to Herrera. Raphael Cox out of play.
Alvarez sends that ball down the line to take up some time in typical Ray Reedian fashion. Subtle game. He may have picked that up at Connecticut. I think the referee should have at least cautioned him about that.
It's Alvarez across midfield looking for Finley. And Andre Campbell steps in for Wilmington.
Good job by Campbell. He's been excellent tonight.
Plays it right to Sonny Jane. Back to Campbell. Was looking for a runner. Now it's Campbell dribbling upfield. Over to Troy Cole and Tom Parrott.
Just that one breakdown of the defense on the restart. Otherwise, they've been very, very solid.
Nicholson to Parrott, moving back to forward, back to front. It's to Frager. Another nifty move to get by Herrera. To Frager now poked away. Sonny Jane. It's Corbin Bone to Sonny Jane. Great tackle there just outside the box.
Just too much traffic. Too much traffic. They need to work the ball wide, get some service from flank positions. Their most effective play was when Parrott had that sequence of corners, and they got a couple other crosses. That's when they've been most dangerous. You're not going to beat them down the middle right now. Wheeler can maybe do it as a physical presence, but Sonny Jane is not going to run over anybody.
Wilmington Hammerheads FC. Watch every away game here. All right, fans, you tweeted us your fan of the night pictures, and we have chosen a winner.
And we'll have, looks like, two more subs. One for Charlotte, one for Wilmington. It looks like Cody Arnott will come on for Stefan DeFrager.
We talked earlier about Ross Tomaselli being a local boy in New Hanover High School. Cody Arnott the same. Played a bit in Europe, played a bit in MLS, played at Wake Forest. He's a veteran. Wouldn't it be nice if he got the equalizer tonight?
And the sub for Charlotte will be Mamadou Kansé. Will Heaney battling his defender. Able to get by, and Heaney sends a cross in. Nobody home. That's where you'd like a big body like Aaron Wheeler in there to finish that ball off.
Yeah, you don't want Justin Moose, probably one of your smallest players, on the end at the far post. That's where a guy like Wheeler, if you can find him there and you can work it in, he can be very effective. I thought the 65 minutes that Wheeler played, he gave them a lot, and maybe it's something to build on.
Troy Cole looking for Sonny Jane. finds the former Maryland standout. And now it's Corbin Bone looking for Andre Campbell, who's now up front. Campbell will send the left-footed strike out of play, not close. It's really Wilmington. The one great opportunity tonight was from Aaron Wheeler inside that 18-yard box, just with a quick trigger finger and rang one off the post.
Well, almost every opportunity. He had a header off that corner kick sequence before. He's been able to hold the ball. He's been able to create fouls. And I think he's a guy they can build around. It's funny with forwards, Joe, that times they just don't score, and then they score in bunches. And it's going to come for Wheeler.
Well, it looks like Coach Porter emptying the bench as Andre Campbell will go off. And it'll be the youngster, Kyle Guerreri. The young 17-year-old will get some action for Wilmington.
Well, this is the player we talked about, and I bet they wish right now they had Christian Basagog, who recently signed with Denmark. Jason Arnold delivered him to a Danish team, and he's done very well for the team, but they'd love to have him back. But this is what you do. You try to promote players. And let's see if Guerreri can come through. He's a young man, and this may be his moment.
And there he is, Guerreri, moving forward with a good ball up to Cody Arnaud, just a couple of steps in front. One ball too far for Arnaud.
Substitution, obviously, to get more attack with Guerreri coming out of there, but I have nothing but praise for Andre Campbell. I thought he played very well. I thought the entire back line played well. That corner kick, I couldn't really see the marking in that time, but the ball went across pretty much the far post, placed by Herrera, and no one there. Maybe should have been a midfielder back to pick it off. Maybe Wheeler's responsibility, but he's not in the game at that time, and so a little bit of confusion in the marking, and not the blame of the defense. I think they've been very good for the Hammerheads tonight.
It's Corbin Bone. Alvarez will take over for Charlotte. 82nd minute of action, 1-0 in favor of the Independents. Looking to gain a big 3 points, which for the moment, would push them into that sixth and final playoff spot in the Eastern Conference table.
Give Mike Jeffries a great deal of credit. I think the substitution in the midfield gave them energy, gave them an opportunity, and of course Herrera taking the corner. He's the midfield general. It's nice to have your captain on at the end of the game, and he's not a great player defensively, but he's a smart player, and he really got the job done for Mike Jeffries.
Charlotte obviously in no rush right now with the clock on their side to get things moving.
I see that the Hammerheads have brought on Brian Ackley. When we talked to Carson Porter before the game, he thought he was going to rest Ackley, but Brian Ackley coming on. He's a leader of the team. He's been around, and he's got that winning edge that he developed at that great program at Indiana University. So maybe he can give them a little dimension. He shouldn't get worn out by playing the last 10 minutes. And Brian Ackley's a competitor, and he takes a great deal of pride and has really come on and really identified with this team. Maybe he can be a guy to get that ball in the back of the net for the Hammerheads.
Yeah, Ackley came on for Q Lawal. Troy Cole will hammer it back to Andre Rawls, and there's a miscommunication, and Ryan Finley just outside the outstretched leg of Ryan Finley, an open net.
Well, the game's getting a little serious. We needed a little comic relief in here, and that's what it was. My goodness, that ball's headed back over Rawls' head. You've got to really get that ball to bounce high to go over Rawls' head, and Finley doesn't get to it. Ryan Finley, just an interesting guy for Charlotte. He played at Duke. He went to Notre Dame, and all sorts of potential. I remember with Dallas we were talking about possibly selecting him, but he looks slow to me out here. He's not quick, and he's not seized opportunities, and Ryan Finley's running out of time. He's got a lot of potential, a lot of talent, but he's got to make more of his chances, his opportunities.
It's Alvarez with some space. Will put a shot in off the left foot. It'll bend over the crossbar. 85th minute of action, 1-0 in favor of Charlotte.
Andre Rawls getting caught a little bit off his line a couple occasions. He's pretty tall. He's good in the air, up high, and that ball could have beaten him too. Good defending again by the Hammerheads that time. They force Alvarez to go to his left. He's not very strong with his left foot, but he gets it off and gets a corner. And again, they're in no hurry to get this one off.
It'll be Herrera on the corner. Again for Charlotte, picked up an assist. And probably what was this 5th or 6th minute of action off the bench. Comes up with a big assist to Daniel Jackson. And once again, another, we'll have to wait and see the ruling here.
Herrera bled that for all it's worth, and the referee's going to be adding time, and he might be adding a yellow card to Mr. Herrera's record if he doesn't play the ball a little quickly. He ran about 40 seconds off the clock there.
As once again, just one basically player in for Charlotte, and Hairston's able to get ahead on it.
And that's what Herrera does. Very accurate services, like one, maybe two players. They did have Finley. He was just sort of standing somewhere, and Hairston went for the ball. Terrific service by Herrera to find Hairston in the midst of all his blue shirts.
That ball turned away, so Wilmington will be granted with a corner kick here on a ball that really could have probably been honed down by the Charlotte defense.
No, that's not a good play by Metcalf at all. He could have done a lot better with that, and now this gives the Hammerheads a chance to convert off a restart. Unfortunately, they don't have Wheeler's height in the game, but maybe they look for Ackley. He's a big man, and he'll throw his body at the ball.
And Will Heaney is in the mix there, unable to get it.
Situation. You've got 4 minutes to go in the game. Surely they have somebody and get the ball in the box, and they take a short throw in. Fortunate enough to get a corner, but I would have put a long throw in and just get it in the mixer and hope for a result.
Heaney will look to bend it in. Burner punches it away. Hairston looks to head it outside of the penalty area, and Charlotte able to escape another threat for Wilmington. Heaney with the bender. Charlotte has done a good job here preserving the 1-goal lead.
Gave a couple opportunities away, and the Hammerheads did not make the most of them in these last couple minutes. Jack Thompson in no hurry.
Be Heaney to Sonny Jane. Looking to get Cody Arnaud moving forward as he just levels his shoulder down. Play continues, no whistle, so Jane will let it bounce out of play. We'll look for the quick throw into Brian Ackley. And a bad first touch there from Ackley.
Amen. He has to get that ball in front of the goal. That's not that difficult. If he's doing that in Indiana, I think that Todd Yegley is going to be very upset. Maybe Jerry Yegley will come back out of the stands and reprimand Brian Ackley. He's got to get that ball across in front of the goal to give his teammates a chance.
We'll definitely have some time added on to the 90th minute here due to some cramping from Jack Thompson.
I don't think they have another substitute left. I think both teams are hard and they win. Starting with Leighton Shoemaker, the legendary Leighton Shoemaker, God rest his soul, a wonderful person who built a great program, and it's been carried on by Dave Brandt before he went to U.S. Naval Academy, and by Coach McCarty since. It's an outstanding program, and I'm happy for Jack Thompson, who was a very good player when I watched him at the college level.
So a couple of minutes of extra time as things wind down here at Legion Stadium. Looks like Charlotte will pick up those 3 points they needed to stay in the hunt for the playoffs. Well, Wilmington once again blanked. We'll see if they can muster up. All it takes is one chance. And Parrott, just a lot of frustration there from Tom Parrott.
That's what it is, and Tom Parrott should know better. He's an experienced player. Or you don't want to show up the official, and that's what he does when he rips his shirt up in the air and says whatever comes to his mind. And again, now it just gives the opposition, in this case Charlotte, a chance to knock a long ball and maybe play it down to the corner and kill off the game. That is one of the highest shots I think I've seen in quite some time. And again, Ryan Finley, a young man with immense talent, he's got to do better than that. Just give yourself a chance. The goalkeeper might be off the line. Put it on the frame. Instead, you commit a foul and give the Hammerheads a chance to get the ball forward.
Tom Parrott looking for Ackley. Ackley off his chest. Will leave for Sonny Jane. Just a little too far for Jane, but there's Cody Arnaud stepping in. Quickly turned back by Herrera.
Give Cody Arnaud some props for this game. He's played hard. He's put himself about, and he's a veteran. He's in the twilight of his career, but he's given a good effort tonight.
Justin Moose and Brian Ackley will have one more corner kick coming up.
This may be the opportunity. I just have one question for you. Don't they have anybody that can throw the ball more than 10 yards? Get the ball in the mixer. This is a chance. I'd even bring Rawls up, and looks like they may. What do you have to lose?
Will Heaney goes to the far post. And he got caught in the lights, it looked like. It looked like Moose couldn't find it.
Justin Moose may be the second shortest player on the team, and he's at the far post. You need a big player at the far post.
Now they're going to go to Will Heaney, who had a header deflected by Andrew Ribeiro, as we'll do yet another corner kick.
Well, we're getting better. Heaney's a little bigger. Maybe this time we can go to the far post for a really big guy.
This one punched away by Burner, and that should do it, and it does. It's the final whistle. Final score from Legion Stadium, full time tonight. Charlotte Independence 1, Wilmington Hammerheads FC 0. Richard, as we close the broadcast this evening, hope you've enjoyed the broadcast. Obviously, another tough late goal game that turned around for the Wilmington team that I thought really controlled most of the pace of play throughout the evening.
Boy, you've seen this play act out before. It's sort of the same script. The Hammerheads played some good soccer. Carson Porter wants them to play good soccer, control the ball. They did it for a great deal of the time, and then just that one let up. And when things are not going well, you do press, you lose your concentration on the one corner. Great service by Herrera, and they leave a man open at the top of the box at the far post, and Jackson buries it, and the Hammerheads go home short. And this is a big win for Charlotte. Give Mike Jeffries a lot of credit. I think his substitutions made an impact. They needed to get a result on the road. And credit to the Hammerheads. I don't think you want to lose the course. Don't change everything radically. You've got a good coach. The general manager's done a great job finding players, and the luck will change. I think you've got some players you can build around. You've got players like Thomas Ellie, give you an honest effort, good, solid defense. And I told you, I like Aaron Wheeler. I think the man can make a difference in the lineup. He's the most dangerous player they had, and I think he just ran out of gas tonight.
Well, that will do it here from Legion Stadium. Richard, it's been a pleasure. I know you're filling in. Good job tonight. And like I said, a great job analyzing tonight's match. And unfortunately for the Hammerheads, it's the same story as what's been going on pretty much all season. These two sides will pick things back up on Saturday night out in Charlotte, where the Independents will play host to the Wilmington Hammerheads. Wilmington with 2 more home games in the regular season coming up as we head through the end of September. Charlotte, 3 points in the scoring column or in the standings. They will move into the 6th and final position where they will stand into the weekend. So Wilmington still has a chance to play spoiler against Charlotte, but we'll see how that all pans out on Saturday night out in the Queen City, about 4 hours westward here in Wilmington. Hope you've enjoyed the broadcast. The final score tonight here from Legion Stadium in Wilmington, North Carolina. Charlotte 1, Wilmington 0. You guys have a great night.